Howdy folks, welcome to part 3. I tried to get everything in parts 1, 2, and 3, but I could not, so there will be a part 4. So hang tight for one more part of the interview after this week, and that should take care of it. There we go, we got it working. All right, now afterwards, we left Birch's Garden. We went to one of my favorite places in the world. And that place is called? Garmisch, Germany. Garmisch-Partenkirchen. Yes. Oh, it's just beautiful. I love going to Garmisch. It's one of my home away from homes as well. Just like Schweinfurt, home away from home because I lived there. But Garmisch, that was my second home away from home. How does that make? Anyways, I love Garmisch. I always go to Garmisch. I use Garmisch as my home base and everything. And I believe these folks here like Garmisch a little bit. So tell us about your love for Garmisch.
Well, first of all, the hotel was awesome. And just surrounded by mountains. Cute little city. Wish more had been open when we got to walk around that evening. But just walking through, you could tell it was a great little place to be. And we enjoyed it. But the Zugspitze was the greatest.
I got 4 words to describe that.
Phenomenal. It was amazing.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And the morning we debated kind of getting on what was that thing called the lift? What's that?
The Orbitron.
Yes, we were kind of debating because it was
the gondolin.
Yes, because it was a little foggy outside. However, that was the best time to go because you rode through the clouds for about 7 minutes, and when you get out of the clouds, it is the most absolutely amazing thing you have ever seen.
Like she said that morning when we woke up, we were very skeptical because of the overcast and the clouds, and from the ground level, you would not even imagine that you would see what you were about to see. But fortunately, our good friend Darren made the executive decision and decided let's do it, which there was no regrets whatsoever, because once we penetrated through the clouds and came out, it was like
no words.
It was the next thing closest to heaven. That's all I know to say.
It was so awesome. We were calling everybody FaceTime at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, 3 in the morning. I was
United States time, sharing the views.
Exactly. Yes.
That's right.
I would go, to be quite honestly, if we went back to Germany again, which we will. That is one place.
Hopefully soon, right?
Yes. That is one place I will go again. I promise you. That was worth the trip and then some.
Amen.
Oh boy.
That was just I still to this day cannot stop talking about that place. That was just the snow was so pristine. It was like diamonds all over the place.
Oh man,
the Alps
beautiful.
were just so awesome. The location where you were there in Austria. And you could stand in Austria, stand in Germany. Stand in Austria, stand in Germany.
And standing in one place, you can see 4 different countries.
Yes.
When you're in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Italy.
Yep.
Yeah. You see all those standing in one spot. You don't see buildings in the thing, but you see the Alps.
You see the church.
Yeah, you see the church in Garmisch. Yeah, and Austria.
Up on the mountain.
But it was just, and you know what else was neat was, we were so high up in that altitude, and there was a restaurant up there that it just made you stop and think of the time and effort.
Oh yeah,
beautiful.
And that's over in the Austrian side, actually. Now I remember being there in the 80s. I went there the first time in '89. Went to Garmisch. Buddy of mine in the barracks. He found Garmisch, and he goes, Darren, you got to go with me to Garmisch one of these days. And I was okay. So I hopped on a train, went to Garmisch, and I remember coming up in the train, and I was like, where am I? This place is gorgeous, and I've been in love with it ever since. And there's just no stopping. But I remember being up there. There was guys up there with Uzis checking your passports, because you walk into Austria, they had border patrols back then.
Yeah.
And they're up there, and passports. You give them the passport. Back then, just military ID card will work. You know, you could tell military ID card, and but yeah, a lot has changed. But it is beautiful up there, and also they have the best bratwurst on the German side. They got a guy there grilling bratwurst right there. Oh, I have 1, 2, 3 of those at a time.
It was beautiful, and the train ride down was fun too.
Yes.
so.
the cogwheel train. See what we did? We took the gauntlet up and everything. And some days are better than others. Some days are clear, completely clear with no clouds at all. And some days, you had the clouds. You can still see the ice sea on the right going out there. Yeah, that's where I swim all the time. I remember pointing that out. And then we enjoyed the Zugspitz, aka the top of Germany. It's called the top of Germany, and did all that. And then when we left, just like Wendy was saying, went down on the cog train, and we all boarded the train. And it's a slow process because you're going through the mountain. I mean, there's big old caves, tunnels, whatever, going through. And then it just, once you got through the cave, remember, it just opened up.
That's beautiful.
Oh, it was just beautiful. I remember seeing y'all's faces on that, and that was worth it.
And God showed favor by giving us that hotel.
Oh, hey, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's another story. That's another story.
Yeah.
We had a place all set up, ready to go, but we got there and we decided we didn't want to stay there. And luckily, we were blessed to have the Edelweiss open up. There was room in the inn, because when I checked before, it was all booked. But I look, I need some rooms, and they immediately helped us out there.
Provided.
So that was awesome. Good job, Edelweiss.
Yes.
And they had a Starbucks.
And the Starbucks. Oh, yeah, my wife and Wendy got along great. All right, while we were in Garmisch. Beautiful Garmisch. Can you say beautiful Garmisch?
Beautiful Garmisch.
Oh, can you say magnificent Garmisch?
Magnificent Garmisch.
Can you say magnificent Germany?
Magnificent Germany.
Can
Phenomenal.
you say magnificent Deutschland?
Magnificent Deutschland.
Can you say magnificent
Spaghetti ice.
Bavaria?
Magnificent Bavarian.
And magnificent spaghetti ice.
Yes.
There we go. We went to other places too that were close by to Garmisch. Garmisch is, I use that as a home base. And tons of places, tons of things to do. And one in particular, we can't mention everything that we done on this trip because we'd be here for 5 hours.
Yes.
But the main points, Oberammergau, that's where the plague took place, 1634. People were dying, they were dropping like flies all over the place, all over Emmergau, all of the towns around there, the European plague and everything. And the mayor was a Christian. And so he called everybody in the town to the city center where I showed you where that statue, the water fountain was, and they prayed right there, asking God, please save our city. Well, you know, we will. They made a vow. They made a vow to talk about the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. And they said they will every 10 years they'll put on this play, aka the Passion Play, and they stuck to their vow. And by the way, no one else died ever since they made a vow. No one else died in that area. All the towns around there, people were dropping like flies, but no one else died there. And still to this day, with some, because of COVID, they messed up the 10 years last year, but it's going to happen in 2022. They still have the play. They still do it, and 95% of the actors are descendants from these folks from 1634. And there's some kind of rule you got to work. If you're not a descendant from there, you got to work there 20 years. And a professional something, one or other. There's a certain rule, and then you can do that. It's hard. But these are actual descendants of the people. But I also took you to my favorite spaghetti ice, Cafe Paradiso, right there in Oberammergau. That's where my kids had their very first spaghetti ice, right there. And by the way, there's a YouTube video of that, and my kids eating spaghetti ice for their very first time. That was awesome. March of 2016, and it was yummy stuff. Now, what did you think about your spaghetti ice there?
Oh, absolutely delicious.
Delicious? Was it fresh?
Fresh, creamy. Awesome.
Straight from the cow?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Good.
That's right.
If God made anything better, He'd better kept it for Himself.
But well said. That was profound there. That was woo.
Yeah.
That was woo.
Yes.
Yeah, that was way up there.
Yeah.
That's awesome stuff. So there are tons of things to do in the Garmisch area, and not only that, but we went to the Neuschwanstein Castle, and also where King Ludwig, he built that. It was his fantasy castle. It's also the youngest castle in Germany to date. And he grew up down in the castle below, Hohenschwangau, castle, where he grew up, and he fantasized this castle as a kid. And so what did you think about the castle? So let's start with Hohenschwangau. Hohenzollern. I can't say it right.
Yeah, that castle.
His childhood castle.
Yeah, that castle there I thought was pretty fascinating. You walk into there and it was huge and it was enormous. And then you compare it to the second castle that you go into,
Which is called the Neuschwanstein.
Neuschwanstein, yeah. And it's just it was just astounding in the difference in the size. It was like having a guest cottage in a cottage. Like the main house and the guest quarters.
That's right.
And but yet the guest quarters was the size of probably a Publix supermarket. And I mean that's how huge it was. And so and the detail, the fine detail and the workmanship and the craftsmanship that went into it was just totally off the chain.
It's awesome. Now, Wendy, you were intrigued about the art in the Neuschwanstein Castle. What were you?
There were art and murals all over the walls throughout the castle. I was surprised about the rooms being as tiny as they were inside the castle. The castle was huge, but the rooms were very small. It was interesting for a castle. But the art, it was funny, the tour guide, she was taking us around and I was looking at all of these pictures because I'm art buff anyway, and I was telling my husband how there are no blood in any of these pictures. They're all war pictures where they're all fighting and no blood. And she's like, that's so funny you said that. I was just about to talk about that. And it's like, okay, well this is like a fifth one. They're all fighting. There's no blood anywhere. And she said it was offensive to the kids, so they just don't put it in their art.
Wow, check that out.
So,
that was, absolutely. What else do you find interesting about the Neuschwanstein Castle or the Hohenzollern Castle?
Well, I found
Schwangau.
Yeah.
Hohenschwangau.
I thought was pretty neat was the bridge that came across.
Oh, the back bridge.
Yeah, the
oh,
back bridge.
yes,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
The locks on it was gorgeous.
That was pretty.
Yes, I love that bridge.
Yeah.
I seen somebody lose their, it wasn't his phone, it was a camera, a expensive camera. He was leaning over, and I was on the very end. This is probably in Greg was with me, so 2012. Remember Greg?
Yeah.
It was 2012. Greg and I were sitting there. He was sitting there just howdy-ho. And then we were sitting there just talking away. And all of a sudden I heard, it was a Japanese guy. He was yelling at himself, I guess. And he just, dropped his phone. Now, I bet you it was pretty expensive.
Well, I bet so.
But that's a memory there, too.
But the castle itself was absolutely gorgeous. And the tour going through there was gorgeous, too. And when you stand from the outside and see it and it's all its beauty and awe, and I found fascinating was this was the same castle that was modeled after the castle that's in Orlando at Disney World. And,
yeah, that's right.
And you know to see a mirror image
Walt Disney World himself, Mr.
Yes.
Walt Disney World himself. He goes that they gave me the idea for this castle.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
I liked the room up there. That was never finished.
Oh yeah.
The musical.
Yeah, the auditorium.
Yeah, the auditorium. That's pretty interesting.
Makes me wonder if they're ever going to finish that. That'd be kind of neat.
Because I think it would have been beautiful.
Oh yes.
Doctors
and Shoes. Oh! Yes, sirree, Bob.